Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Media Access Awards Easterseals Disability Services interview series. Have you ever wondered how to break into the entertainment business? Well, Jim LeBrecht and Nicole Newnham have some advice for you, and they should know, as they are the co-writers, co-directors, and producers of the Netflix award-winning documentary, Crip Camp. Check it out.
What would you say to young filmmakers, especially young filmmakers with disabilities who want to pursue a project? How would you tell them to go about it, or what would you tell them? You probably got this question at every session.
It actually doesn't come up that often, but I think that one has to find their tribe.
Right.
One has to reach out. I was involved with a few people a year and a half ago at a convening of disabled filmmakers, documentary filmmakers, at the International Documentary Association's Getting Real conference. And we wound up having about 40 people in the room. It was the first time so many of those people had met anybody else with a disability that was working in film. And so out of that, we're kind of we're launching a group this year called Forward Doc. And there's a Facebook group called Filmmakers with Disabilities in Documentary. And we also have a website now. And so that is a way that we're hoping we can connect people working together. And I think that our focus on documentary is going to expand after a short period of time.
Sure.
But this is kind of like how we all knew each other.
What's the name of the website?
If you go to fwd-doc.org, fwd-doc.org. That's correct. Let me just confirm that with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's fwd-doc.org. And we have a really good website that we just put up recently.
Great.
And but I would say that even if you're not disabled, I mean, this is kind of the general rule for anybody, is that you don't have to go this alone. Try to find people that are doing what you're doing, and if you can't find them, try to elicit people to come work with you.
Right. You need a tribe. Nicole, how would you answer that question? Because you've been doing this for a long time and have done a number of really extraordinary projects. But when a young person comes up and says, I got an idea for a documentary, what should I do?
I mean, I agree with Jim, very much so. You got to look for the helpers. And I think, I think in terms of documentary, especially, but I mean, all filmmaking, it is a collaborative effort. Not unlike the collaborative efforts we see pictured in Crip Camp,
Right.
And each filmmaking team is a community. And so I think looking for collaborators where the act of having a conversation with those people is just like a joyous, fun experience, and really trying to listen to your collaborators and learn from them and find people to collaborate with that you can learn from. I think that's a spirit we tried to keep alive in the making of Crip Camp, and it got us through like the 5 years of uncertainty, because we were looking forward to getting together every day and continuing to talk about it and continuing to work on it. And that sounds simple, but I think a lot of people stay kind of siloed in their own goals and their own vision and miss out on that. And I also think you just, for me, I've always operated on, waiting until I find a story that I absolutely have to tell, that I just can't not tell it. And that's the only thing that gets me through. So, yeah.
That takes a lot of patience to wait for that story to come up, to read it or think of it. And a lot of people, young people, they don't have that patience. They just want to do something.
Well, and, you know, and also look, sometimes these things are not direct path. In other words,
Right.
I want to direct a documentary. Well, that's great. Well, maybe try to, you know, do some work in an editing room.
Right.
You know, simply saying, can I come help and work in that, and just start observing. And it's getting to know people. You know, I mean, film school is not the right thing for everybody, nor is that obtainable for everybody.
I'm not sure if it's the right thing for anybody.
Well, yeah, indeed, that's a very good point.
But you
I
do,
didn't go to film school.
but actually at film school, and I don't know, Nicole, if you had this, I have friends who I've collaborated with. I have friends for life, first of all, and many of whom that I've collaborated with, you know, starting out. And that was a good place to find collaborators, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
But there are other places you can find collaborators too, like on your website, which will, you know, the audience I'm going after, your website's going to explode. It's going to go virtual, I promise you.